Good evening and welcome to Express News with me, Deepika, your daily half-an-hour window that brings you all the latest news and updates from the country and the world in just 30 minutes. Let's quickly begin. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday launched the Uttarakhand Global Investors Summit in Dehradun. Prime Minister Narendra Modi unveiled the House of Himalayas, saying that the summit's aim is to strengthen the vision of local for global. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also visited an exhibition at the Investors Summit. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that there is an untapped potential for investors in Uttarakhand and the third decade of the 21st century belongs to Uttarakhand. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that today you will see policy-driven governance in India as the country demands strong political stability. India Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the first India Art, Architecture and Design Biennale 2023 at Red Fort in New Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched the Atmanirbhar Bharat Centre for Design at the first Indian Art, Architecture and Design Biennale 2023. Prime Minister Narendra Modi released commemorative postage stamps at the event. During the event, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that the capital Delhi has many symbols of art and architecture. In a social media post, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi invited participation for Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence Summit 2023 beginning the 12th of December. Reserve Bank of India Governor Shaktikanta Das has unveiled the fifth monetary policy of the financial year 2023-24 on Friday. RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das said that the Reserve Bank of India raised its forecast for growth in gross domestic product for financial year 2024 to 7% from 6.5%. RBI Governor said that Reserve Bank of India also has projected that inflation for financial year 2024 will be at 5.4%. RBI Governor announced that UPI transaction limits for certain transactions have been hiked. Union Minister of Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal spoke at the 44th annual function of Consumer Electronics and Appliances Manufacturer Association. Union Minister Piyush Goyal further highlighted India's growth story and urged stakeholders to prioritize the quality of goods and services to enhance global competitiveness. Indian Minister Piyush Goyal said India is looking at a 10 times growth to become a $35 trillion economy by 2047. Indian Railway Minister officially revealed India's inaugural bullet train terminal in a video showcasing bullet train terminal at the Sabarmati Multi-Modal Transport Hub in Ahmedabad. A musical rap titled Badalta Kashmir by Kashmiri youth has been created to show the extent of development of Indian Kashmiris at the present time. Schools and colleges in the southern Indian city of Chennai will remain closed on Friday as relief operations are underway in the city hit by torrential rains. Moving on to business and economy, Indian benchmark indices ended higher in the volatile session. At close, the Sensex was up 303.91 points or 0.44% at 69,825.6. Nifty was up 68.2 points or 0.33% at 20,969.4. Indian rupee ended marginally lower at 83.39 per dollar versus previous close of 83.35. Gold futures maturing on the 5th of February next year stood at 62,500 rupees per 10 grams on the MCX. Silver futures maturing on the 5th of March next year witnessed a hike of 0.35% and were retailing at 74,576 rupees per kilogram on the MCX. Oil benchmarks were headed for a seventh straight weekly decline on worries over a global supply surplus and weak Chinese demand. Brent crude futures were up at $75.98 a barrel, while the US West Texas Intermediate crude futures were up at $71.16 a barrel. The Nasdaq ended sharply higher after Alphabet and Advanced Micro Devices sparked a mega-cap rally on fresh optimism about artificial intelligence. The S&P 500 gained 36.25 points to end at 4,585.59 points, while the Nasdaq Composite gained 193.28 points to 14,339.99. A Wall Street Journal report says that India remains a bright spot in the global economy in 2023. The report attributed the growth in Indian economy towards resilient currency and reforms made by the government. Israel has said that 92 of Israeli armed forces have been killed since the ground operations in Gaza began on the 20th of October. US President Joe Biden held separate phone calls with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Biden emphasized on the need to protect the civilians. The Russian and Ukrainian forces continued clashes, each claiming to target the other's military assets. Both claimed successfully repelling each other's offensives in multiple directions on Thursday. The Russian Defense Ministry reported that its forces successfully repelled multiple Ukrainian offensives, resulting in personnel losses on the Ukrainian side. Ukrainian authorities claim that its forces successfully fended off Russian offensives in the direction of Avdiivka and launched multiple airstrikes on Russian military personnel, weapons and equipment. Taiwan's defense ministry said that 12 Chinese fighter jets and a suspected weather balloon had crossed the Taiwan Strait's sensitive median line. The tension comes amidst Taiwan's 2024 presidential elections. The Department of Justice filed a new criminal charge against US President Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, accusing him of failing to pay $1.4 million in taxes. Hunter Biden has been accused of 3 felony and 6 misdemeanor tax offenses, according to an indictment filed in the U.S. District Court of California. He may face up to 17 years in prison if convicted. Greece and Turkey agreed to improve bilateral relations and strengthen cooperation during Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's visit to Athens. In the declaration, both the sides have agreed to hold friendly relations and good neighborliness by holding mutual will to improve bilateral ties. Russian President Vladimir Putin said on Friday that he will run for 2024 presidential elections. Russian President Vladimir Putin awards soldiers with the country's highest honor who had fought in Ukraine with Russia's highest military honor. Australia said on Friday that they have signed a contract with South Korea's Hanwha Aerospace to receive 129 Redback infantry fighting vehicles by 2028 in a $3.16 trillion deal. The signing comes after Australia in July picked Hanwha as a preferred bidder for the project worth up to $7 billion in total, marking it the largest investment in army capability till date. The US and Mexico agreed to cooperate in stronger screening of investments to reduce national security risk and also discussed integrating cross-border payment systems. The Treasury and Mexican Finance Ministry signed an agreement to exchange information on technical information and best practices as United States Secretary of the Treasury wrapped up a 3-day visit to the Mexico City. Germany's train network comes to a halt due to a pay dispute between unions and the management. The strike comes as heavy snow paralyzed parts of the network earlier in the week, causing widespread rail cancellations and travel disruptions across the country. Passengers of London were left stuck on trains for hours in cold without power after delay on London's Elizabeth line. The incident followed after damage to overhead cables blocked routes to and from one of London's busiest stations. COP28 president urged countries on Friday to get out of their comfort zones and work together to reach an agreement before the 2-week summit comes to an end. Flash floods caused by heavy rain inundated roads in Washington's Arlington. The National Weather Service has advised people not to drive on flooded roads. Germany braces heavy snowfall, prompting all-day cancellations of flights and long-distance trains due to heavy, icy conditions. 3 have been reported dead after heavy rains deluged main Seychelles island of Mahé, causing massive damage to an industrial zone. President of Seychelles, Wavell Ramkalon, declared a state of emergency after heavy flood caused havoc in Seychelles. Thousands of dead fishes have been recovered from the shores of Hakodate in northern Japan. The official says the cause of mass death of fishes is still unknown. An earthquake of 5.8 magnitude jolted parts of central Mexico, shaking buildings in the Mexican capital at a depth of 27 miles. Dozens of elephants have died of thirst in Zimbabwe's popular Hwange National Park as the drought caused by climate change dried up waterholes. Toxic smog has been choking Pakistan's Lahore for weeks now. Pakistan has been blanketed in thick haze that partially blocked the sun and shrouded streets with fog. Health officials estimated that there has been at least 50% rise in pediatric patients due to respiratory issues exacerbated by poor air quality in the last month. A report by World Meteorological Organization says that this past decade, which is 2011 to 2020, is the warmest ever and will continue on in the current decade, resulting in extreme weather patterns. With artwork flown in from Fiji and a traditional performance, the indigenous activists at COP28 reminded the negotiators to put people at the forefront. India's Sher-e-Kashmir University of Agriculture, Sciences and Technology unveiled the first of its kind winter flower garden that defies the winter chill, also known as Gule Daoud. Jewish celebrations of Hanukkah that commemorates the victory of the Jewish rebel army of the Maccabees over the Syrians kick-started in New York by lighting the largest menorah in the world. Tourists and New Yorkers gathered to see the 36-foot-tall menorah that was designed by Israeli artist Yaakov Agam and certified by the Guinness World Record as the world's largest. Acknowledged as OCOP tourism, the cocoa product has created a new opportunity and is positively impacting the lives of many locals. McDonald's secretly launched a smaller format concept store called Cosmix that sells cold beverages including flavored iced teas and slushes as the fast food giant charts out an ambitious growth plan. The first Cosmix location opened in Bolingbrook, Illinois, about 30 miles west of Chicago, as part of a limited test run and aims to open about 10 pilot stores by the end of 2024. Nestled among the trees of a reserve in Mexico, scores of monarch butterflies have moved into their winter home to escape the chilly temperatures of Canada and the United States. This trip south is not an easy one for the fragile butterflies. Scientists generally agree that the monarchs have seen a population decline since the beginning of the 1990s, with climate change factors and increased urbanization being blamed for this. As Christmas approaches, the Sarajevo Festival of Lights has illuminated for the first time in Botanical Garden of the National Museum in the Bosnian capital. The museum boasts of one of the world's largest collections of butterflies, theme reflected in the garden's light displays. The Korea Baseball Organization will adopt the world's first automated ball strike calling system AI Empire, starting in 2024 to ensure fair play for pitchers and hitters. This system was tested in the American minor league this year, but KBO is the world's first main pro baseball league to adopt it. The traditional Festival of Lights begins in Lyon, France, with more than 2 million visitors expected to participate in the event. The event has its origin in the inauguration of the statue of the Golden Virgins in Lyon's Fourrevaux district in the mid-19th century. Apple and its suppliers aim to build more than 50 million iPhones in India each year within the next 2 to 3 years, with additional tens of millions of units planned thereafter. A fashion show with an unusual touch was held at Russia's Kaliningrad, showcasing its first creative workshop. The collection also includes a double-breasted men's suit with a checkered lapel and star details, designed for fashion-forward men looking forward to make a statement. Olympian-turned-filmmaker Savannah Leaf challenges audiences' preconceptions with a feature film debut called Earth Mama. The film sees the guarded young women striving to make it on her own and defy the expectations placed on her by the society. Director and writer Zack Snyder and his cast from the latest two-part sci-fi adventure called Repel Moon get clicked at the film's premiere in London. Repel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire, is set for release on Netflix on the 22nd of December, while the second part, called The Caregivers, is slated for April next year. Actor Kerry Washington and pop superstar Dua Lipa dazzled on the red carpet at the Hollywood Reporter's star-studded Women in Entertainment Gala in Beverly Hills. Dua Lipa, Camila Cabello and actors Lily Gladstone and Billy Loud handed out more than $1 million in university scholarships to students during the gala event. Oprah Winfrey and Steven Spielberg brought their star power to the Los Angeles premiere of The Color Purple as they joined the cast of the new musical adaptation on the red carpet. The 2023 version is the second film adaptation after a 1985 Spielberg film starring Winfrey and Whoopi Goldberg, who won a Golden Globe for her performance. Actress Fran Drescher was honored at the 2023 Robert F. Kennedy Ripple of Hope Awards. The organization, Robert F. Kennedy Human Rights, celebrates those in various sectors including government and advocacy who demonstrate an unwavering commitment to positive social changes. The largest Christmas tree in the world was lit up in the medieval Italian town of Gubbio, a tradition in which the entire slope of Mount is lit up with lights in the shape of a tree. The much-awaited teaser of Indian director Siddharth Anand's upcoming film called Fighter is finally out. Moving on to sports, the draw for the Copa America was unveiled on Thursday. Defending champion Argentina kicked off the 2024 edition on the 28th of June in Atlanta against the playoff winner between Canada and Trinidad and Tobago. In Premier League, Everton stunned Newcastle to move out of the relegation zone. On the other hand, West Ham beat Tottenham Hotspur. Juventus are not interested in rejoining the European Club Association after the European Club Association's chairman, Nasser Al-Khelaifi, opened the door for their return. US private equity group Arctos Partners have acquired a minority common equity stake in French champions Paris Saint-Germain, the Ligue 1 club, confirmed on Thursday. A riot erupted in Brazilian city of Santos on Wednesday after the local team was relegated following a 2-1 defeat against Fortaleza. The president of the Brazilian Football Confederation, CBF, Ednaldo Rodrigues, was removed from his post on Thursday by Rio de Janeiro court, the state court of justice confirmed. Hyderabad FC will have just 4 foreign players available for their Indian Super League clash against Northeast United on Sunday after 2 players left the club midway into the season. Zimbabwe captain Sikandar Raza started with bat and ball as Zimbabwe beat Ireland by 1 wicket on Thursday in a thrilling opening T20I of its 3-match series. The Board of Control for Cricket in India has set up an 8-member committee led by its president Roger Binney to foster the growth of Women's Premier League in the country. And Masters champion Jon Rahm jumped from the PGA Tour to Saudi-backed Liv Golf on Thursday in a big money move that has sent another shockwave through the sport. And with this, it's a wrap here on Express News for now, but news and updates will continue here on DD India. So don't go anywhere, keep watching and keep tracking DD India for all latest news and inputs from the country and the world. Thank you so much for joining us right now. Namaskar.